How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the 2019 Ford GT500. Now, there's been a lot of rumors floating around for the last couple years, but Ford has not revealed anything about the new GT500. But there's been a ton of speculation around the new car, and there's also been a lot of spy images taken recently. So in this video, I'm going to be analyzing the images that have been released on the internet, and I'm going to tell you what I think they mean. So with that being said, let's get started.
So first, let me give you a little background on this car. Way back in August of last year, some spy photographers captured video of a GT500 prototype. Now this got everybody real excited. We knew that Ford was up to something, but this was the first time we were actually seeing a prototype in the wild. And although the car essentially looked like a GT350R, there was heavy camouflage on the front, and there was also a distinctive exhaust note. So as soon as this footage was released on the internet, forums went crazy. Everybody was speculating on what the car would have to offer. And no matter what people thought was under the hood, they could all agree on one thing. This car had to beat the Hellcat. When Dodge released the Hellcat, they started a horsepower war, and ever since then, Ford and Chevy have been hard at work trying to make a car that can beat it. So as you can imagine, people were pretty excited about this. They thought that the GT500 was just around the corner, and considering the Mustang was due for a refresh anyway, it only made sense that a GT500 would be released as well. Well, 5 months later, Ford revealed the 2018 Mustang at the Detroit Auto Show. The car featured a brand new look, and it sparked a lot of controversy. The redesign made the car look more aggressive, and some of the styling cues were inspired by the Shelby GT350, but there was no mention of a GT500. So the question on everybody's mind was, where's the GT500? Well, at first people weren't too concerned. They thought the GT500 would be announced at another event within the next couple months. But as time passed and as the New York Auto Show passed, it wasn't looking good for a 2018 GT500. But fortunately, not all hope was lost. Along with the release of the new Mustang, Ford released these images of an instrument cluster. And interestingly enough, Ford put some Easter eggs in these images. The 455 represents what could be the new horsepower rating for the refreshed Mustang. And in this next image, we see 755. Which very well could be the horsepower rating of a future GT500. So although the GT500 hasn't been announced yet, there's no denying something is in the works.
Everybody has been dreaming about a GT500 Mustang, but for the past couple years, there's really been no information released. The only thing we get to see are these spy images, and really that isn't a whole lot to go by. It doesn't tell us the power, it doesn't tell us the specs. All we have to go by is maybe the basic shape, and maybe if there's a spoiler or special wheels. The fact that everything is so heavily camouflaged is a red flag that Ford is up to something, and they want to keep it a secret.
So here are the newly released spy images of the GT500. Now the reason these images are so significant is because everything is covered up. When we saw the spy videos last year, we saw a GT350R with a heavily camouflaged front end. But this time around, everything is camouflaged. Or is it? After doing some research on the internet, I found out there's a part of the car that's not completely covered up, and that part is the tires. Now I know what you're thinking, tires? What could that possibly tell us? Well, it actually tells us more than you'd think. The spy photographers managed to take this close-up picture of the tire, and upon further inspection, they discovered that the tires were 305mm wide, which just so happens to be the same width as the rear tires on the Shelby GT350. And more importantly, the Camaro ZL1's front tires are also 305mm wide. And if we've learned anything about the ZL1, not only can it go fast in a straight line, but it can also handle incredibly well on the track. What this means is that whatever this car turns out to be, whether it's a GT500, a Boss 429, or maybe even a Cobra, this car won't be a one-trick pony. Historically, the GT500 has always been a great straight-line performer, but when handling on a track, it left more to be desired. But thanks to these new tires, it shows us that whatever this car turns out to be, Ford doesn't want it to only be good at the drag strip, they also want it to be good at the track. And that, my friends, is exciting news. Another interesting thing I learned about these images is that the person driving is Dave Pericak, who just so happens to be the director of the Ford Performance Division. It appears he's trying to hide his face from the spy photographers. So if the director of the Ford Performance Division is driving a heavily camouflaged Mustang, I think it's safe to say this is a special car. After years of waiting, we may finally get a GT500 that is capable of going on the drag strip or on the track with no problem. And although no official information has been released by Ford, with all this evidence, it'd be crazy to think they're not up to something big.
One of the things I've often thought is, why doesn't Ford just turbocharge the Voodoo engine that's in the Shelby GT350? I mean, could you imagine a turbocharged GT350 making 700 plus horsepower? That would be a wicked car. Now, my thoughts on the whole thing is this. For Ford not to release something this year at the Detroit Auto Show or the New York Auto Show, what that tells me is that they have something in store and it's going to be big. Ever since the S550 Mustang came out, everybody was saying, oh, I can't wait for the GT500. When's the GT500 coming out? But here we are, it's 2017 and we're still waiting on this Halo Mustang. Granted, we did get the GT350, but we still don't have that over-the-top muscle car from Ford. I can't imagine Ford deciding not to release a GT500 or some Mustang that makes, you know, at least 600 horsepower. Now, if these rumors are true, when will we see a GT500? Well, I think that the earliest we would see it would probably be next winter. And, you know, there's other shows throughout the year. We already passed the New York Auto Show, so my gut says that we're going to see it sometime next January. At the Detroit Auto Show, Ford will show the world the GT500, or whatever variation of Mustang this is going to be, and I have a feeling that it's going to be a very, very nice car. So what are your thoughts on the 2019 GT500? Do you think it's going to beat the Dodge Demon or the Camaro Z01? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching this video.
Now before you go, I just have one announcement I'd like to make. I recently purchased some Ford Performance hot rod cams for my GT Mustang. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I think it's gonna have a good sound to it. Anyway, I'm all set up to get them installed next week, and I plan on making a video about it to share with you guys. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you real soon.